Lanes in Manhattan, for the most part, gone both sides of town. Cross Bronx headed into the George Washington Bridge, backed up for about an extra 10 minutes or so from Webster Avenue. In sports, the Nets, they host Utah tonight. Exhibition baseball from this afternoon. The Yankees beat Philadelphia by a score of 5-2. And the Mets were shut out by Miami 3-0. The Bloomberg 11:30 three-day weather forecast. Tonight we'll see clouds increasing. There could be a shower after midnight. Lows near 45. Tuesday partly sunny with a high of 60. Wednesday we'll see clouds and a chance of afternoon rain, high near 50. Thursday periods of rain, high 55 to 60. Right now in Central Park, clear. We're at 61 degrees with the best ride in and out of the city. I'm Ymca, Bloomberg 11:30, bringing you global news 24 hours a day.
Broadcasting live from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio in New York. Bloomberg 1130 to Washington, D.C. Bloomberg 99.1 to Boston. Bloomberg 1061 to San Francisco. Bloomberg 960 to the country. Sirius XM Channel 119 and around the globe. The Bloomberg Business app and BloombergRadio.com. This is Bloomberg Daybreak Asia.
It's 7:30 Tuesday morning in Hong Kong, 10:30 Tuesday morning here in Sydney. I'm Paul Allen.
And I'm Doug Krisner at the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio in San Francisco. We've got trading underway now in Sydney. Quite the rally for the ASX 200, up nearly 1.2%. Energy shares clearly out in front of this advance, given the fact that crude oil is back above $113. That's WTI. Tokyo and Seoul will be online at the top of the hour. We'll take a closer look at all the market action for you in a moment. Right now, a few of this hour's top business stories.
Let's start with the Fed signaling more aggression in fighting inflation. Fed Chair Jay Powell says the Fed's prepared to raise interest rates by a half percentage point at its next meeting if needed. Powell said Russia's invasion of Ukraine is aggravating inflation pressures by boosting prices on food, energy, and other commodities. Even so, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic said the Ukraine war calls for caution and suggested a less aggressive approach.
I penciled in 6 rate hikes for 2022 and 2 more for 2023. An extremely aggressive rate path is appropriate today. Events are shifting rapidly, and we could see marked changes along key dimensions such as aggregate demand that could warrant quickly adjusting the trajectory of policy.
Bostic said he could adjust his views up or down based on new data. If the Fed were to hike its key rate by a half point in May, it would be the first increase of that magnitude in 22 years.
Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is buying the insurance company Allegheny. The price tag on this deal, $11.6 billion in cash. Bloomberg's Matthew Palazzola explains why this is a positive move for Berkshire.
The Allegheny business is actually very complementary. There's small parts of it, like small commercial insurance, a lot of companies are getting into, and this excess and surplus or specialty lines insurance where pricing is really good. So it's actually a nice little bolt-on for their insurance business.
Now, Allegheny will continue to operate as an independent unit when it does join Berkshire. These companies say the terms of the deal include a go-shop period. That means over the next 25 days, Allegheny can solicit and consider other takeover proposals.
Property developer Sunac China expects a delay in publication of the 2021 audited annual results. The company says the audit procedures could not be completed as scheduled. Sunac says it's due to the COVID restrictions on travel and logistics in mainland China and Hong Kong. The company also said it sees profit for the year falling by about 85%. Sunac cited challenging conditions in the real estate industry during the second half of last year.
We're at 33 past the hour as we cross to Los Angeles. Brian Curtis is there looking at markets. Boy, that U.S. yield curve today, these were monster moves. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, it's still puzzling, don't you think, the different reactions in the stock and bond markets?
Yep.
Normally, something as obvious as that, a pretty stark comment from Jerome Powell, that you'd see both markets digested in their ways. But anyway, big moves in the bond market, the stock market not so much. There was some selling after those comments, but then the stock market came back and the S&P 500 finished flat, and we have yields up in Australia, but the Australian equity market is faring very well, up 1.2% now. Maybe not too big a surprise is a big commodity exporter, and commodities up again. The Bloomberg Commodity Index up 1.9%. And WTI crude now 113.32, so up 1% in my reading, but then for the day up about 6+%, so a pretty big move there. And if we look at some of the reaction in the bond market, you have the 2-year yield now at 2.11%, so a jump of about 18 basis points, and the yield on the 10-year moving up about 14 basis points to 2.28. So that spread 17 basis points. Everybody looking at the spread here to see whether or not maybe the bond market is tipping recession down the line. Then you have Nike enter the picture with a pretty